Barbecue ribs. Can never go wrong with these. Today, we are cooking some classic barbecue pork ribs, but with a bit of a twist. We're gonna cut these ribs individually. Now, the main advantage to that is they're gonna cook a lot faster, and they're gonna have some amazing bark all around the rib. But don't think that that means less flavor. On the contrary, these are just as amazing as cooking the whole rat. So let's get started. It's good stuff. Now we have a rack of St. Louis style cut spare ribs, and I'm going to start by cutting them into individual bones and then season them. Once nicely coated with your favorite barbecue rub, let them sit for a bit to tack up. And let's start up our grill. I'm using the S&S Grill's charcoal basket on a master kettle. And we're going to start by lighting a few briquettes on each basket. Once lit, I'll pour in the rest of the unlit charcoal. We will place a basket on each side. Cover the grill and let it come up to temperature. In between the two baskets, I'll line with foil to collect any drippings and make the cleanup a lot easier. I'll place in my grate. Spray the grates with oil. And then place in our ribs. These ribs will be cooking around 250 to 275 for about 3 hours. A normal rack of ribs can take me from 5 to 6 hours, but cooking it this way, they do cook a lot faster than cooking the whole rack, so I highly recommend that if you're on a time crunch. It's becoming harder and harder to cook up a whole rack with this method of cutting them into individual bones. Now you could cook these way hotter and much faster, but I tend to think that that gets a little bit more tougher, a little bit more drier, is not as juicy. But I think this method is a nice compromise between a hot and fast 1 hour rib and a full 5 to 6 hour rack of ribs. Which is a winner? Who knows? I encourage you to experiment and see which one you like best. Personally, I think there's room for all three methods to coexist, so do what's best for your situation. Now that all the ribs are in, let's close and start cooking. 2 hours, 45 minutes later, these look ready. Let's do a quick check for tenderness. Ooh yeah, probe slides in like butter. I'm ready to sauce. Master Kettle ran nicely, but the right basket did go out on me. Not sure why, but the left side did all of the work here. These ribs are looking beautiful. Now, besides the advantage of taking less time, you must also consider the nice bark all around the rib. Sure can't beat that. Let's remove all of our ribs into a bowl. Place some of our favorite barbecue sauce. And then toss the bit to coat the ribs evenly with sauce. Next, I'm going to place back on the grill to let the sauce set. They won't be here for very long. I'm giving them about 15 to 20 minutes. They sure do look great though, and they smell fantastic. Let's close the lid. And 15 minutes later, I'm ready to remove. And let's plate a few of these up for some tasting. All right, let's give these a shot, right? Now there's something awesome about cooking classic barbecue like this, pork ribs. Cutting them up individually like that really speeds up the process. It's not as fast as hot and fast ribs, party ribs, and it's not as slow as cooking the full rack. It's somewhere in the middle around time. It takes about 3 hours. Now, how does it compare versus cooking up a whole rack? Now, first, you can't beat the bark all around the rib versus cooking up the whole rack. And personal opinion, I feel these are more juicier and tender than 1 hour hot and fast ribs. I encourage you to try them this way. Around 3 hours is all you're gonna need. Now, if you don't have 3 hours to spare and you wanna cook these ribs under 1 hour, then be sure to check out these videos next.